What's up, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into a Heroes Escape, your place for all things Heroscape. Today we've got another tier list video, this time for Wave 5, known as Thora's Vengeance, which was released in 2006. In addition to this, I also have the Tundra expansion set mixed into this one just because I've got to fit those figures in these tier lists somehow, so I'm doing it by time that they're released, basically. On a second note, please check out my fantasy novel, The Price of Renewal, which is available on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and ebook. Also, there are two full playthroughs that I have released recently. One of them is me actually just playing against myself on this board over here. But my friend Chase and I also did a playthrough of Marvel Heroscape, the most popular of all Heroscapes. So definitely go check that out. It's pretty entertaining, pretty ridiculous, just as ridiculous as the set itself is. And I can tell you that I did very poorly in that game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with the tier list here. Let me minimize myself to the corner. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. That's what we want. All right. So here we have it. This is our tier list for the day. Wave 5, Thora's Vengeance. So I don't know who Thora is. I don't know if that's like female Thor, but this is Thora's Vengeance. And our first unit here is the Warriors of Ashra. Now, this one I do actually own, and I guess I bought this expansion pack when I was a kid. I think it came with the Death Reavers, which I thought were pretty cool looking. But the Warriors of Ashra are 3 figures to the card, and they are for the Olar faction. They each have 1 life. They move 5 spaces, have a range of 1, attack 3, defense 3, and they're worth 50 points. So pretty low points for this card. And having a attack and defense of 3, that's nothing too shabby. So maybe not necessarily the worst addition to an army, but here's their ability: defensive agility. When a Warrior of Ashra rolls defense dice against a normal attack from an adjacent figure, 1 shield will block all damage. That's powerful. That's powerful. If they're rolling for defense against a normal attack, 1 shield blocks all damage. They're only worth 50 points. I mean, is that A tier? That's pretty powerful, honestly. And they still have 3 attack, which is like average, right? I don't know. That's B or A. But I'm going to put them in B tier. Just because even though that seems pretty powerful, they are a little bit lackluster. They're kind of cool Amazon warrior looking type women deal, but we'll move on from there. We have the Blastotrons. Now this wave has a lot of cool Soulborgs, which makes me want to build a Soulborg army. Unfortunately, I don't have most of these different Soulborgs that we've been seeing in these tier list videos, so if I were to get them, then I would definitely make a Soulborg army. But the Blastotrons are 4 to a card, and they're only worth 60 points. They have 1 life each, they move 5, they have a range of 7, attack of only 1, and defense of 2. Gladiatron movement bonding. Before taking a turn with Blastotrons, you may move 4 Gladiatrons you control up to 5 spaces each. Now, I think the Gladiatrons were from the previous wave, if I'm not mistaken, but this is pretty cool. I mean, anytime I see one of these bonding abilities, it gives a unit points, because being able to basically take 2 turns at once is awesome. But they also have homing device. When attacking a non-adjacent figure, add 1 attack die for every Soulborg who follows Vidar that is adjacent to the defending figure. So if you have a bunch of Soulborgs attacking an enemy, then bam. They got to be Vidar Soulborgs. That's the only catch. But yeah, they can do their homing device. That seems pretty good. And then it's a that can be pretty powerful attack. If you've got 4 Soulborgs are surrounding this guy, then that brings us up to 5 attack. I gotta say, these guys seem pretty powerful. I almost want to put them in A tier, and I especially feel that way because of the bonding, which is always good. But they have 7 range, and they have that homing attack. So I will say, originally I thought they were going to be really low, but I gotta say A tier for them. Now we have Kozuke Samurai, which is anytime there's samurai figures, it's just awesome. Samurai, ninjas, that's all cool. But these guys are 3 to the card, 1 life each. They each move 5 spaces. They have a range of 1, an attack of 5, which is huge. Defense of 3, and they have charging assault. Any or all Kozuke Samurai may add 3 to their move number as long as they are unengaged prior to moving. Kozuke Samurai must be able to move adjacent to an opponent's figure in order to use charging assault. So they can just move further if they're going in for an attack. So that's pretty cool. Then they have Counter Strike, which is the same as the Izumi Samurai. When rolling defense dice against a normal attack from an adjacent attacking figure, all excess shields count as unblockable hits on the attacking figure. This power does not work against other samurai. And I think Captain America, funny enough, also has that ability. But that's pretty powerful too. I mean, these guys are A tier for sure. At 5 attack, they're only 100 points. The Counter-Strike is just so powerful, but their defense is only average at 3. I just think this is a worthy A tier, in my opinion. The Samurai are always good, but yeah, those ones seem almost better than the Izumi Samurai. Now we have the Ninjas of the Northern Wind. Now, I never got either of these Samurai or Ninjas, but these guys look pretty cool. I wish I had them. 3 to the card, 1 life each. They move 6 spaces, range of 1, attack of 4, pretty good, defense 3. But they're worth 110 points, which is more than the samurai that we just looked at. Maybe their abilities have something to do with that. They have Disengage, we know what that does. Ghost Walk, they can move through all figures. And they have Disappearing Ninja. If a ninja of the Northern Wind is attacked with a normal attack and at least 1 skull is rolled, roll the 20-sided die to disappear. If you roll a 1 through 11, roll defense normally. If you roll a 12 or higher, that ninja of the Northern Wind takes 1 damage and instead may move up to 4 spaces. That ninja of... If you roll a 12 or higher, that ninja of the Northern Wind takes no damage. Sorry, there we go. And instead moves 4 spaces. Ninja of the Northern Wind can disappear. Okay. Oh, only if they... Sorry, it's hard to read. Only if they end their turn, end their disappearing move, not adjacent to any enemy attacks. It's pretty good. Like, I gotta say, are these A tier too? I mean, that disappearing attack is pretty powerful. You have a good chance of rolling that. But I don't know. I think the lower attack, I'm putting them in B tier, to be honest. I think the Counter-Strike on the Samurai and the higher attack makes the Samurai better than these guys. Plus, the Samurai are a lower point rating. Moving on, we have Spartacus. Now, these guys I do have. Some of you who watch my videos might have seen that I just recently got them. And actually, I have them right over here. Here is Spartacus. Nope, wrong one. Here is Spartacus the Gladiator. And his card shows he has 5 life, he moves 5, range of 1, attack 6, and defense 4. But he's worth 200 points, which is pretty huge. His gladiator inspiration is if all order markers for a round are placed on gladiator army cards and at least one order marker is placed on Spartacus, then all gladiators you control except Spartacus become inspired. Inspired gladiators add 1 to their move number and add 1 extra attack die and defense die for the rest of the round. So that seems pretty obvious. Just go ahead and place the X on Spartacus and the 1, 2, and the other ones on the other gladiators, and then they actually get more movement and more attack. It's a really good buff, and more defense as well. So that's a really good buff to bring these guys up to being pretty deadly. He is worth 200 points, which is quite a lot, but pretty good. I mean, I think it's like... I'm going to say B tier. Even though it's powerful, the point value makes him pretty expensive. But we'll see more of the gladiators in a minute. For now, we're going to move on to the Death Stalkers. Another Soulborg that I wish I had, so I can make a Soulborg army. There's 3 of them on the card. They have 1 life each. They move 7. Range of 1, attack 3, defense 5, and they're worth 100 points. That's very high defense, as all Soulborgs are. And they have Maul. When rolling attack dice against a small or medium figure, if a Death Stalker rolls a skull on every die, the defending figure receives a wound for every skull and cannot roll any defense dice. That's pretty good if you succeed, but you have to roll 3 skulls out of 3 dice, so that's pretty rough. I don't know that they're that amazing, but you know, 3 attack is average and 5 defense is pretty powerful, so it's a solid B tier, I think, to say the least. I think that's a fair placement. Now, moving on, we have another Soulborg Menace. Nah, I don't think they are Menace. They are Tricky, and they're called Death Reavers. Another one that I have, they came with the Warriors of Ashra, and there are 4 of them on the card. They're only worth 40 points for this entire unit, which is definitely something to consider. They have 1 life each, they move 6 spaces, range 1, attack of only 1, but a defensive 4, so they are pretty tough still. They have Scatter. After a Death Reaver you control rolls defense dice against a normal attack from an opponent's figure, you may move any 2 Death Reavers you control up to 4 spaces each. So if they roll defense dice against normal attack from an opponent's figure, so just no matter what, if they're defending, then you get to move the other Death Reavers, I guess, in to attack or to run away, I don't know. But they also have Disengage, and they have Climb ×2. When moving up or down levels of terrain, Death Reavers may double their height. I think like B or C tier. I mean, the low point count is something to consider, but I don't think these guys are anything that amazing. I think this might be our first C tier, actually. Moving on, we have Crixus, I don't know how to say that, but another one of the gladiators. He has 5 life, he moves 5, range of 1, attack of 5, with defense of 3 for 90 points. And if you have Spartacus and you get that gladiator inspiration, then that's 6 attack. So pretty good, plus 4 defense, which matters because his 1 shield defense ability is when rolling defense dice, if Crixus rolls at least 1 shield, the most wounds he can take for this attack is 1. That's pretty good. And I'm honestly going to put him up there in A tier, which makes Spartacus would be a higher tier if you consider that. Moving on, we have Retiarius. He has 4 life, moves 5, range 1, attack 5, and defense 3 for only 90 points. Another one of the gladiators here. And he has net trip 14. After moving and before attacking, roll the 20-sided die. If you roll a 14 or higher, any small or medium figure attacked by Retiarius this turn may roll no more than 1 die for defense. So if you can pull it off, that's really powerful, especially with his 5 attack or 6 attack if he has the gladiator inspiration buff. But 14 or higher is not the best odds in the world. So probably that's going to be B tier. Moving on is the Nikita Agents. And these are pretty cool Charlie's Angels looking type agents. And there's 3 of them on the card. They have 1 life each. They move 5, range of 6, attack 3, defense 3, with 120 points for the unit. They have smoke powder 13. When any Nikita agent you control or any figure you control that is adjacent to them is targeted for a normal attack from a non-adjacent opponent, so a ranged attack, you may roll the 20-sided die. If you roll a 13 or higher, all Nikita agents you control and all figures you control that are adjacent to those Nikita agents no longer have any visible hit zones for the duration of the targeting figure's turn. So that's pretty powerful. Definitely it's good, and it just happens whenever someone tries to attack them or someone adjacent to them with range. Definitely good. They have engagement strike 15. If an opponent's small or medium figure moves adjacent to them, roll the 20-sided die. If you roll a 15 or higher, the opponent's figure receives a wound. Figures may be targeted only as they move into engagement with the Nikita agent. So a lot of these are pretty good just as like passive abilities that always happen. Like you don't have to do something special to like use this ability. It just happens whenever these circumstances come into play. And then they have Gorillinator movement bonding. So if you have the Gorillinators, then you can do this. Before taking a turn with the Nikita agents, you may move 3 Gorillinators you control up to 7 spaces each. And the bonding, as we know, always brings these guys up higher, but Gorillinators are such a specific unit. I don't know that that gives them a lot of extra points, but these guys are powerful enough to be A tier, in my opinion, that just standing alone without their Gorillinators. Now we have from the Tundra expansion set, the Zute. And I can't help but see some similarity between these Yetis and the lava creatures from that other Valkyrian Waste or whatever it's called, that other expansion. There's 3 of these on the card. They're 1 life each. They move 5. They have a range of 1, attack of 4, and defense of 3. And they're worth 75 points for the unit. Now, moving on to their abilities, we have Glacier Traverse. If a Zute is adjacent to a glacier mountain, the Zute may Glacier Traverse instead of moving normally. You may do this with any or all Zute you control each turn. To Glacier Traverse, move to any unoccupied space adjacent to that glacier mountain. So that's cool and all. But it's just very specific. Like, how many boards have glaciers on them? I don't even own this set, so if I had these figures, I mean, I wouldn't even be able to use this ability. But they also have Glacier Camouflage, another very specific ability. If a Zute is adjacent to a glacier mountain, opponent's figures must be adjacent to the Zute to attack it with a normal attack. So another good ability that is very specific and situational. They have snow and ice enhanced movement. Slippery ice and heavy snow only count as 1 space when moving. That's interesting. I don't know the rules of snow, and I have a lot of snow pieces, so I should probably learn that. If someone could put that in the comments, how the snow pieces work or moving in snow, I would greatly appreciate that. I know that ice has some different effects too, but yeah, all in all, these guys are just so situational. They have to be C tier because it's not normally going to work. And that means we need to find one of these to be our honorary F tier. And it's between them and the Death Reavers. But honestly, these guys are so situational, I've got to put them in F tier, to be honest. That it's really a problem. And you're not going to often see those situations. So that's our Wave 5 tier list. That is Thora's Vengeance. If you guys like these and want to see more, please subscribe because I will be going through every single Heroscape release doing tier lists. And thanks again for watching. Please go ahead and check out my other videos. We just did a Marvel playthrough, so that's pretty entertaining because that set is just plain ridiculous. Yes, so go ahead and like and subscribe, and thank you again, everyone, for all the support.